I'm sorry, help me.
This is too much. I apologize. Please do something. As my mother-in-law and husband desperately begged me for help, I asked the first thing that popped into my mind. Why are you guys asking me for help? What have I done to you? I have no idea what's going on with you two and how I can help. Anyway, I have something else to do. I turned my back on them, ignoring the frantic begging in agony behind me, and left. I am Eileen. I was a 27-year-old secretary, and my husband Aaron was 29 years old back then. He was an advertising agent and worked for a different company from me. We met because our offices are in the same building and got married 2 years later. My in-laws lived a short flight away. My mother-in-law Yvonne was left alone after her husband passed away last year. Aaron, being the eldest son, took her in without any discussion. Although we still lived separately, we were just on different floors in the same apartment building. She was, to put it nicely, sassy and a bit impatient, and I was more of a think before act type. We were polar opposite in terms of personality and did not get along well. She seems to get frustrated with my slow speech and action every time. She thought it was better to do things quickly, even if the result was 60 points. She often suffered a loss as a result of proceeding without thinking things through. No matter how hard I tried to adjust to her way, I could not agree with her completely. For example, my wedding. When it came to choosing a venue, "Just pick one already," she scolded me and then recommended a cheap place that was available for the earliest booking without checking the service carefully. At that time, I had narrowed down my choices to a few and was planning to visit each place. "What are you procrastinating about? In the end, all venues are more or less the same. Stop wasting your time worrying about tiny details." Considering our future relationship, I decided to follow her advice. However, the venue was located in a hard-to-reach area, and there was a patchy cellular connection. In addition, we were served a lower-grade course because they weren't able to get the originally planned ingredients on the day. Aaron and I were frowned upon by the guests. Yvonne told the relatives who had complained to her. "Eileen insisted on having a reception here. We tried to reason with her, but she didn't budge." Thanks to her, I was recognized by her relatives as a bride who was not only selfish, but also unable to offer the least hospitality. I complained to Aaron about that.
We were all family now. You should forgive her. Besides, you agreed to have it there in the end.
He took her side, and I was left frustrated. Those misunderstandings continued to happen over and over again after the wedding. "You are really slow and clumsy. It's a waste of time for me to be with you. You make me wait all the time, and I'm really tired of it. Can't you respect other people's time?" She started to criticize me blatantly. That happened because she changed the plan earlier due to her impatience, and I was just on time. "I'm sorry, but I just followed the original schedule." "Are you telling me it's my fault? Can't you be more flexible?" "I'm not saying it's your fault, but I have other plans too. Surely you are not that selfish to think that everyone else should accommodate you." "Who do you think you are talking to? Don't you dare talk back to me." I knew that Aaron wasn't going to deal with her, so I stopped being nice and directly addressed her. She probably never dreamed of being talked back by me. She became so furious that you could boil water on her head. She told Aaron about that in a very exaggerated manner, and I was yelled at by him later.
"Why are you so selfish? Stop irritating my mother."
He became completely on her side after that. At that time, my father-in-law was still alive and gave her a slap on her wrist.
"If you can't be nice to your daughter-in-law, It's only a matter of time before this house will cease to exist. When that happens, who will take the responsibility? You have always pushed other people around and caused nothing but trouble. I've been the one to clean up your mess every time. You forget that, and you're being a nuisance to others again?
And he gave Aaron a lesson as well.
How long are you going to be controlled by your mother? You have your own family now. When your wife is in trouble, you don't even take her side, but tell her off. Shame on you.
Thanks to his reproach that their behavior, which could have been seen as bullying, was kept under control. Aaron was actually a really good husband as long as Yvonne wasn't involved. He always prepared a surprise gift for me on my birthday and took the initiative to help me with the housework on his days off. His attitude changed drastically when she was and wasn't around. At that time, we had no significant relationship, and I only saw them during Easter and Christmas. I thought that if I endured those events, I could have a relatively happy married life. However, just 1 year into our marriage, my father-in-law became ill and was hospitalized. He passed away despite his treatment. I wondered what Yvonne was going to do.
My mom is moving downstairs next month, and we are going to take care of her.
Aaron suddenly announced. What? What do you mean we're going to take care of her? Why didn't you tell me anything about this?
I'm the eldest son, of course. I should take care of her now that she's all alone. And since you don't like her, I rented a separate apartment instead of having her move in with us. I'm making a compromise for you, so don't complain.
When my father-in-law passed away, I thought we might have needed to take care of her. I never imagined that I was going to be forced to do so without any consultation. I became distrustful of him because of his insensitive behavior. I was also concerned about my future life with him, who would have most likely taken her side if we had a confrontation. I began to a bit cautious in my daily life. Such days were exhausting, and as I feared, Yvonne harassed me in various ways. Moreover, Aaron even suggested that I clean not only our house but hers on my days off.
I always help you with the chores. She's getting old and tired, so go and help her. I mean, I can do it too, but she's going to be around for a long time. It's a good opportunity to patch up your relationship with her.
I decided to take up his advice in the hope that things would improve. It must be hard for you to do all the house things. I was wondering if there was anything I could do to help. I don't know what a clumsy girl like you can do for me. Well, that's okay. I don't have enough furniture, so could you get me some? Sure. Should I pay first and can you reimburse me later? You live on Aaron's income, don't you? Why don't you pay from there? He said I was free to spend it however I wanted. When I was about to refuse, she lashed out loudly. Just go! I will let him know later. I didn't have the energy to talk back and readied myself to go shopping as she ordered. Then I realized that the things she asked me to buy were large shelves and a coffee table, all of which were difficult to carry by myself. I'm sorry, but these are all big and heavy things. I'd rather wait and go with Aaron. Are you serious? He works so hard. Are you going to make him work even more on his day off? Do you even care about him? If I talked back to her even a little bit, she got upset and yelled at me harshly. I gave up and decided to obey her. Furthermore, Aaron gave her the duplicate key to our house, so she entered without permission while we were at work. She began to open the mail and ransack the bedroom. She may be your mother, but to me she's an outsider. I can't stand it when she comes in and out of our house freely, peeks into our bedroom, and opens our mail without permission. Ask her to stop. He responded with an okay at the moment, but her behavior did not improve. I thought that if things continue as they were, divorce would have been the only option. I felt I was losing my feelings for him. Then, one Friday, Aaron had a day off. I came back from work to find Yvonne relaxing in the living room as if it were her home. Surprisingly, when she noticed me, she made an unusual gesture. "Oh, you are back. Hi, Yvonne. I went shopping with Aaron today and found a delicious-looking cake. You have been very kind to me, so I bought it as a thank you and put it in the fridge. I tripped earlier, and it crumbled a little. I'm sorry." I was astounded, and then Aaron joined in.
We'll go to a furniture store a bit farther away tomorrow. Mom really wants a bed from there. You're off, so come with us. It's late to have the cake tonight, so let's have it before we go out tomorrow.
He was grinning derisively, and I got a hunch that the cake wasn't an honest gift. "Okay, why don't we leave after lunch then?" Satisfied, the two of them went to clean Yvonne's apartment in preparation for the new bed. I checked the cake in the fridge after they were gone. There was a round chocolate cake that had clearly been tampered with in one place. I could easily have guessed that Yvonne was going to make me eat that questionable part. To cover it up, I ran to a deli and bought a chocolate bar. I melted it down and reapplied it to the top of the cake so that no traces of it could be seen. I moved the strawberry on top a little so that only I could see the questionable part. The next day, Yvonne came over a little earlier than scheduled. "Good morning, you're just in time. I just finished preparing the cake, so please have a seat." I tried to fix the crumble part. "Oh, of course, I will eat that part, so it may not matter to you." "Oh my, that's unusual for you. You got things done ahead of time, and you've even learned to be considerate. Is Aaron up yet?" "I'm sure he will be up soon." Immediately after, he came to the living room after waking up from sleep. When he got ready to go, the three of us decided to have the cake. He wasn't much of a fan of sweets.
Mom, have mine.
He handed his plate to her after eating half of his slice. She finished the other half happily. Meanwhile, they both grinned at each other, watching me eat. I knew they had done something to the cake. I thought there was something extremely spicy or bitter in it. The two, who were supposed to be eating the part in question, showed no sign, and I was honestly disappointed. As soon as we finished,
"Well, let's go. Can you drive home?"
Aaron handed me the car key, and just as we were about to leave, "Eileen, you should go to the restroom before we head out. It's quite a long way to the store." "I'm fine. Besides, we will use the highway, so it will be quick." Then, when we were getting on the highway,
"How much longer until we get there?"
asked Aaron with a pale complexion. About an hour and a half, I think."
"Can I use the restroom somewhere?"
"Eileen, did you really eat the crumbled part?" Following Aaron, Yvonne, who was breaking out in a cold sweat, asked me from the back. "Of course I did. I wouldn't let you or Aaron eat the damaged part." "You don't look so good. Are you feeling okay?" "I need to use the restroom too, so stop anywhere you can." I sensed that both of them were suffering from sudden stomach aches from their appearance. My mischievous spirit got the better of me, and I dared to drive slower and past the first exit.
"Come on! I mean, how come you're okay?"
"What are you talking about?" Aaron looked like he was trying very hard not to yell at me and asked a bizarre question.
"No, it's nothing."
"I mean, you guys did something to the cake, didn't you? It's obvious. If you don't tell me honestly, I will skip the next exit." I could see them gasp.
"I don't know what you're talking about."
"Oh, so you're not going to tell me?" "It's a laxative. We put a laxative in it. I wanted to teach you a little lesson. My hunch was right. I was so glad that I reapplied the chocolate the night before. Please get off here. I let them out of the car at a gas station we had just arrived at. As soon as they stepped outside, Aaron gasped, "Ugh." I heard him curse in a whisper. Then a faint stench hit my nose, and it was clear to us all that the worst had happened. You guys are not feeling well, so stay here and rest.
I'm sorry, help me.
This is too much. I apologize. Please do something. Why are you guys asking me for help? What did I do to you? I have no idea what's going on with you two, and how can I help? Anyway, I have something else to do. Ignoring their frantic pleading and begging, I started the car and rushed home. When I got there, I packed up my belongings and evacuated to my friend's house. I then went to see a lawyer with my journal, which had details of Yvonne and Aaron's bullying, and the data of recorded conversation about the laxatives. Later, I was told that they called the car service to get home.
Damn you! The car service is charging me for dry cleaning because of you. You pay for it.
Why should I? I mean, how did you make such a mess? I questioned Aaron, who called me in a rage, but he must have felt embarrassed to explain and became silent. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm divorcing you. Please speak to my lawyer from now on. I'm sure you will get a letter soon.
Wait, why are you talking about divorce?
Of course, you enjoyed bullying me with your mom. Not only that, you guys even tried to drug me. I can't live with someone like that. More importantly, an adult man who leaked. I couldn't help but burst into laughter. Yvonne, who was apparently listening in on the speaker, screamed, "We don't want a woman like you anyway! Don't ever show your face in front of us again!" Yvonne, I will make sure to bill you for the furniture and other things. Let me make something clear to you. I earn more than Aaron does. I paid for you out of my premarital savings. She was screaming on and on about something, but I ignored her and hung up the phone. A few weeks later, my lawyer told me that Aaron had negotiated to pay alimony in installments, and Yvonne refused to repay me. When my lawyer told her that I could file a police report about the drugging, she agreed to my request. I refused to accept Aaron's installment offer. You have your father's inheritance, don't you? So please pay me in one lump sum. In the end, he agreed to pay me by giving up most of the inheritance. His income alone was not enough to cover his rent, so he moved to an inexpensive apartment with his unemployed mother. The last time I saw him was at the gas station with a very pale face. I left everything to my lawyer, and our divorce was finalized without needing me to face him again. I accepted a transfer that my work had approached me. I have now started a new life in a new city. My lawyer tells me that she's sometimes contacted by Aaron about getting back together. I have all that handled by her. I am out of my difficult life in which I had no one on my side and was being attacked by two people. I'm enjoying my freedom while I'm busy working hard in a new position. Now that I have received a lot of alimony, I'm thinking of going on a trip once my work is settled.
Hello? What's wrong, honey?
I'm so sorry to call you like this all of a sudden. Actually, I got in an accident, and a car had hit me.
What? Are you okay?
Yeah, for now I'm okay. But I fractured my arm.
I see. I'm really worried about you, but I'm so sorry. I'm currently on my business trip, so I can't really go back home so suddenly.
Yeah, I know. So please don't worry so much about me.
I'm really, really sorry.
I felt a little sad when my husband, Austin, said that he couldn't come see me because of his business trip. But I tell myself that he's got no choice since he was working. My name is Lydia. I am 27 years old and I work in a company. I have a boyfriend named Austin, whom I have been dating for 2 years. I first met Austin through work, since he and I was working in the same department in the same company. He is 2 years older than me and was my mentor when I first joined the company. I was attracted to him because of his good teaching skills, and he was also good at catching people's attention with his storytelling skills. Then, later on, he had asked me out for dinner and dates, and we naturally started dating. And 2 years passed in the blink of an eye. And just recently, Austin proposed to me. I was very happy and said yes. But there was a little problem. And that is that Austin wants me to quit my job and be a full-time housewife when we get married. And on top of that, he wants us to live with his parents at their house. With that, I wondered if I should accept his proposal on marrying him. Even though I had already accepted Austin's approval, saying yes right away, this was an important and critical question. And after thinking about it a lot through day and night, I finally decided to marry him. I love him, and it's not like I could stop loving him because of that. So, upon Austin's request, I decided to leave the company where I had worked for 5 years, and I decided to become a full-time housewife. Living with Austin's parents, John and Kate, at their house made me really anxious and nervous until the very last minute. That was because I had only met them 3 times before. Once before Austin and I got married, and when my parents and Austin's parents met, and at the wedding. So, I had no idea what kind of personalities John and Kate had. Besides, I heard so many stories of family issues where the mother-in-law bullies the wife on a daily basis. I didn't even want to think about that topic, but for some reason, I kept on seeing that kind of issues on the news or the internet, and they made me more and more anxious. And finally, life with John and Kate had begun. But despite all my worries and anxieties, both John and Kate were surprisingly kind to me. Kate carefully taught me how to do house chores, and I was able to learn the fundamentals of being a full-time housewife without any stress. And John always had a smile on his face and was not at all bossy like how some father-in-laws can be, as they can act like they're the boss of the house. But John wasn't like that at all. Rather, he made me feel very comfortable when we ate meals together, because he would just casually talk to me, and we'd just have nice, pleasant conversations. And most importantly, both John and Kate love each other very much. So overall, there was just a great atmosphere in the house, thanks to them. Because of this, my husband is also just gentle and kind to me. I felt I had married into a very good family. With this, I truly felt happy to have married my husband. After a year of living such a happy life, it was decided at work that my husband had to go on a business trip. It was the first time for him to go on a business trip since we got married. But it didn't really surprise me, as it was something I had expected. It was a job that required on-site research, and I had been on several business trips when I was working for the company as well. He said he was going on a business trip to another city and would stay there for a couple of days. Thinking how much I missed the days when I went on business trips, I helped my husband prepare for his trip. My husband seemed to be excited, probably because it was his first business trip in a long time. Are you that excited to go on a business trip, honey?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I have the chance to eat some different kinds of food, you know? Oh, and I'll make sure to buy souvenirs too, Lydia.
Oh, come on now. It's not like you're going there to travel as a tourist. It's for your business trip, honey. But I'll be looking forward to the souvenirs.
Good. Expect something yummy and nice.
My husband woke up on the day of his business trip and left home early in the morning. I really wonder if Austin understands that this is for his job. Well, I remember that when I was working in that company, Austin did his work really well, so I'm sure he'll be fine. I spent my first day without my husband while having such a conversation with Kate. The bed that I usually share with Austin feels very spacious and huge because I am sleeping alone now. This is going to last for 2 or 3 days, huh? I felt lonelier than I had expected. Oh, what am I thinking about? I didn't want to be that type of woman who's a pain in the butt. I decided to go to bed quickly without thinking too much about it. But the next morning, I woke up early, even though I didn't have to make my husband's lunch. I thought about going to sleep once again, but I was somehow unable to get back to sleep, even though I was pretty drowsy. Since I couldn't get to sleep, I had no choice but to go to the living room. I had a conversation with John, who's a morning person and wakes up early. And as I began talking to him, my drowsiness went away. Then I saw John off to work with Kate. Oh, today's the day where the supermarket sells meat for cheap price, right? I'll go buy some already. Oh, you sure about that? Thank you, that would be helpful. I had nothing to do, so I decided to go for grocery shopping in the morning. I was pedaling my bike to the supermarket close by the house, while feeling the wind in my face when something unexpected happened. Just as I was about to cross the street at a traffic light, I collided with a car that had ignored the light. I was knocked off from my bike and fell to the ground, and the impact of hitting the car had knocked me unconscious. And before I knew it, I was on the bed in the hospital room. Oh, Lydia. Oh, thank goodness. I'm so glad you're awake now. Kate, where am I? You got hit by a car and got unconscious, and you were taken to the hospital by an ambulance. Then the memories came back to me bit by bit. Then I noticed that my arm was a little sore. I looked closely and saw that I had a cast on it. Your injuries aren't really critical, but your right arm is fractured, and the diagnosis was that you need to stay in the hospital for a bit, along with taking some tests, just to make sure. Oh, is that so? Apparently, according to Kate, the car that ran the red light and hit me was in a hurry because the driver was about to be late for a meeting with a client. I regret a little bit thinking that if I had gone to the supermarket in the afternoon as usual, instead of in the morning, this might not have happened. Oh yes, could you try to call Austin, Lydia? I tried to call him, but my calls wouldn't get through to him. Oh, okay. I will try to call him. I moved to a place where I could make a phone call and called my husband.
Hello? What's wrong, honey?
I'm so sorry to call you like this all of a sudden. Actually, I got in an accident and a car had hit me.
What? Are you okay?
Yeah, for now, I'm okay. But I fractured my arm.
I see. I'm really worried about you, but I'm so sorry. I'm currently on my business trip, so I can't really go back home so suddenly.
Yeah, I know. So please don't worry so much about me.
I'm really, really sorry.
I felt a little sad when my husband Austin said that he couldn't come see me because of his business trip. But I tell myself that he's got no choice since he was working. To be honest, I wanted him to cancel his business trip right away and be with me in the hospital. Were you able to be in touch with Austin? Yes. He got worried when he heard about what happened, but because he's at work in the business trip, he can't really come here. My God, what is wrong with him? When his own wife is out here being hospitalized. Well, it's not like my injuries were fatal, so it's okay. Kate then turned the TV on while having an unconvinced look on her face. It was in the afternoon, and the news was on. My mom and I always used to watch this news program, and the weatherman was reporting from another city where the temperature had reached over 86 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow, it's still very hot here even though autumn is just around the corner. I see everyone wearing just shirts and sandals because of the heat.
The weatherman was walking through a park that looked like a tourist location in the area while saying that. Then, I spotted a familiar man on the edge of the TV. Huh? Is that Austin? What? Oh! Apparently, Kate noticed that the person was Austin too. So, what I had seen was not a mistake. That shoulder bag he has was the one I packed for him in his suitcase. And then, I saw on the TV that my husband was holding hands with a young woman whom I had never seen before while looking at his phone. I wondered if they were looking for some tourist spots to go to. If a stranger just saw this on the screen, I'm sure that the stranger would think they were just a friendly couple on a trip. I quickly got my phone ready and took a photo of this TV screen while Austin and the young girl was on the screen. At this point, I was glad that I was left-handed. Because my left arm wasn't fractured, I was able to quickly prepare my phone. As Kate watched the TV screen, she said, "That idiot, what is he doing?" And she looked like she was fed up. "Oh, Lydia, I'm really sorry about our stupid son." "It's not your fault, Kate, so please don't apologize." Later on, my parents also arrived at the hospital and Kate was the first to apologize to them, saying, "I'm really sorry for what my son did to your daughter," which really confused my parents. Did the accident happen because of Austin? Oh, no, that's not really the reason why I'm apologizing. The exchange between my parents and Kate, who were both upset over my accident, and the fact that Austin had been having an affair, looked a little hilarious to watch, even though it was an inappropriate subject. I explained and my parents calmed down, and Kate apologized again to my parents. "I will make sure that my son will take responsibility for this." John then arrived, and a discussion began between Austin's parents, my parents, and I. For the time being, the discussion proceeded for me to get a divorce with my husband and for him to pay alimony. My parents did get the message that Austin's parents were decent people, so they were not that angry with them. After that, I was discharged from the hospital without any issues after a few days of examination. And just around the same time, my husband came back home from the business trip. Oh, that's wrong. I meant that fair trip with his mistress.
I'm home.
Welcome home.
Oh, Lydia, honey, is your arm okay?
My husband sees my cast looking all worried while saying that. If it's just my arm, then it's fine.
What do you mean? Is there something wrong? Are you injured anywhere else?
Well, if I had to say it, I'd say that there's something wrong with your head.
Excuse me?
How could you go on a fair trip with your mistress when your wife was in an accident and could have died?
A fair? What are you even talking about? I was on the business trip, you know? I would never cheat on you, and I couldn't even go sightseeing these 3 past days in the first place.
You know, you really should stop playing dumb.
What are you even saying, Mom?
Then, what the hell is this, huh? I showed him the photo of the TV screen I had taken with my phone. This is you, right? And the other girl is a girl I've never seen before. Since this was caught on live TV, it was just when you were on your so-called business trip. You even held hands with her, being so close like that. My husband's face turned pale bit by bit as I showed him the photo and talked what I saw.
This is all a misunderstanding. This female colleague who went on a business trip with me was saying her hands were cold or something.
The weatherman on that live program was saying something about how the temperature was over 86 degrees Fahrenheit. What? Do you mean that she has something like a disease where she feels really cold even when it's really hot or something?
No, I'm sorry. Actually, I have no idea why, but that girl likes me. I was so stressed because I had to go on a business trip with her and she forced me to hold her hand.
Oh, really? She forced you, huh?
Yeah, that's it. You're the only one for me, Lydia. I was really getting annoyed by that girl, you know.
After my husband said that, Kate slapped him right on his cheek.
Ouch! Mom?
I had no idea you were such a lying scumbag.
What do you mean? I'm not lying.
You lied about the business trip, didn't you?
What?
I already contacted the company. I told them I was in an accident and asked for the company to have you come visit me in the hospital. But I was told by the company that you took 3 days of leave, huh? My husband began to tremble and looked like he didn't know what to say. So, that means that everything you just said right now is all a lie, right? My husband, probably feeling desperate, got down on his knees and apologized.
I'm sorry. I was being seduced.
John, Kate, and I questioned him about his mistress. It turns out that his mistress was a new employee who had just joined the company this year. And my husband was our first mentor. In other words, my husband was just a scumbag who was really quick in having an affair with the girl he got to mentor. After Kate slapped Austin, John had also slapped him on his other cheek.
Lydia was such a wonderful wife to you, and she worked so hard around the house. I don't consider you my son anymore. Get out of here right now.
And like that, my husband was kicked out from his parents' place. After that, with the help of John and Kate, the divorce went smoothly. I filed for alimony against my ex-husband and his mistress. They both received a pay cut in the company, but many of my acquaintances were employed at the same department as them. So, both Austin and his mistress continued to receive the cold shoulder from the colleagues, and in the end, Austin resigned voluntarily. As for his mistress, she had just graduated from university, and if she quit now, her career would be damaged. And since there was no money to pay the alimony in the first place, she had to continue working at the company to pay for it. So, it seems like she has to put up with it and keep working while getting the cold shoulder by everyone in the department. Austin supposedly changed jobs, but his salary is lower than his previous job, and the company he now works for has terrible working conditions. So he has no time to play around, and all his income goes to the alimony, so his life is now a living hell. Well, I have no sympathy for him at all, because he deserved it. On the other hand, I found a new job and a new room. I'm currently working hard and enjoying the life being a single person. By the way, Kate and I have become really good friends and really close since then. And we occasionally go out to cafes and for dinner. I wonder why such kind parents like John and Kate gave birth to a son who is a scumbag, but I would like to thank my ex-husband just a little bit for letting me meet John and Kate. There are men who tries to get on with women in the workplace. And these kind of people are the ones who seem really kind and gentle, but actually, they can betray you just like that. If Austin was going to cheat on his wife, he shouldn't have proposed and get married at all. But, well, Lydia became friends with Kate, who is very wonderful to her, so maybe what happened was all a good thing in the end. I hope Lydia will find a wonderful person in the future. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next video.